to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, February 21st, 2022. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Dear Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings that you bestowed upon us. I pray that your guidance upon us, the City Council, that we make the right decisions for the City of Aransas Pass. I pray for our residents and that you keep them safe, and with each one of our department heads, guide them, my Father, to make the right decisions. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we're going to go to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of this item unless a council member so requests. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting on February 7th, 2022.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to go to public. I'm going to open up the public hearing on case number 2202-02, which is public hearing on granting renewal of a conditional use permit to Richard Titus and Celia Barnes for 1 year to allow a recreational vehicle to be placed onto lots 26 and 27, block 443, and used as a temporary dwelling for security purposes during construction of a single-family dwelling.
Yes, so Mayor and Council, this applicant applied for a conditional use permit to put an RV type on his property because his construction materials were being stolen. And so it has expired and he's coming for an extension of 1 year. At the recent meeting with Planning and Zoning Commission on the 14th of February, they came to a conclusion that they should allow him 1 more year based on his request. And also, he fell sick. He broke his neck during the process that he was supposed to start his construction. And so he's requesting for a medical hardship. And he cannot be able to begin his construction as scheduled, and so he needs an extension. He initially requested for 2 years, but the Planning Commission felt the 2 years without supervision will be too much, and so 1 year will be good enough as a period for review, and then maybe if he's not finished and he needs more time, they can extend it. So it's before you. Based on the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff, we recommend that you approve the 1 year extension. Thank you.
I don't have a problem with this. I think that maybe we should be checking, after 6 months and see what the progress is so that we don't go another full year after this.
Yeah. Mostly when we give conditional use permits, we check on them every 3 months.
Oh, good.
So,
and will you report back on that then?
Yeah.
Every 3 months?
If you want us to report, we check on them to make sure they are in compliance. But if you want a 3 months report, we can.
Even just an email that says, yes, they're
Everything is
moving
okay? Yeah, we'll do that.
forward. That would be great. I appreciate it.
Okay. The applicant is here, so if you have any questions for him.
Any other questions? Okay. Mary, is there anybody on?
No, there's no.
Okay, then I declare this public hearing closed. And we're going to go into consider and act an ordinance granting renewal of a conditional use permit to Richard Titus and Celia Barnes for 1 year to allow a recreational vehicle to be placed onto lots 26 and 27, block 443, and used as a temporary dwelling for security purpose during construction of a family dwelling, single family dwelling.
I move to act on an ordinance granting renewal of a conditional use permit to Richard Titus and Celia Barnes for 1 year to allow a recreational vehicle to be placed on the lots 26 and 27, block 443, and used as a temporary dwelling for security purposes during construction of a single-family dwelling.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna go to open public hearing on case number 2202-03 zoning text amendment. Public hearing on amendment of zoning ordinance by amending part 3, section 11, AG R16, R10, R7A, R7B, D, A1, A2, A3, NS, SC, GB, CA, PD, and MH zoning district residential uses -514 and -610, providing for a repealing clause and an effective date.
Yes, so this is a text amendment, and it came up by the request of one of the Planning and Zoning Commission members, because this kept coming up, that applicants come in and it has issues with corner lots. They try to, based on their design, they want to turn their property facing the longer side of the property instead of the width side. And it really affects the setbacks required. So instead of letting them go before the ZBA all the time for variances, we have set a certain standard for them to follow in case they come in, and then it will be approved straight up. And so if you look at the design up there, in case they turn it facing the avenue side, which is the long side, minimum required setback facing the street, which is the avenue, will be 10 feet. And then to the rear of the property, it will be 6 feet. Now, on the width side, both the back, so that will be showing the sides, but on this one, it will be showing like a street or alley or another property. Because we want them to be in line with other adjoining properties, they should maintain a 25-foot on the width side. So it will show uniformity. For safety side, we know already that every property that is facing the street, at least a minimum should be 10 feet, and that's what we are maintaining. And this pertains only to corner lots.
And this is for an RV or a manufactured home,
No, stick built, built on site property.
a built-on-site property?
Yeah. In any way, manufactured homes also can be placed this way. But it affects all structures
Okay.
on corner lots.
So on this one right here, would you can use any street to, any of the two streets to be the front?
Yeah,
Yes.
for corner lots. Any street frontage, if you decide to use the longitudinal portion instead of the width design. Traditionally,
Because normally you got 20 feet, 25 feet in the back.
right, that's the challenge, so we give them 6 to the back.
Do you see the alley, were you talking, the back, and maybe they're concerning the alley? That's 25 feet there,
Yeah.
Yes, but that's the way it is. The alley's the back,
yeah.
but this one makes the back, and that's in the corner lot.
Because
The
it's
back
corner
is the
lot.
actual, not the alley, not that street, but the back. from the
So-
street on the other side.
So one of the reasons why we want to maintain the 25 to the alley or to the side, although it's not showing the front to the width, is we are considering other properties next to it. This is how they're going to face anyway. The other properties facing the street side, their front will be facing the street side and any next property. So they will also maintain, we are letting this corner lot have a 25 feet facing the street side. So it will match up to the next property because they will be required to have the 25 and they will be lined up. Yeah. Yeah, like that.
Makes sense.
Any other questions? Nobody? Okay, then I declare this public hearing closed. And we're gonna go to consider an act on ordinance amending the zoning ordinance by amending Part 3, Section 11, AG, R16, R10, R7A, R7B, D, A1, A2, A3, NS, SC, GB, CA, PD, and MH zoning districts, residential uses -514 and -610, providing for a repealer clause and an effective date.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance amending the zoning ordinances by amending Part 3, Section 2, AG, R16, R10, R7A, R7B, D, A1, A2, A3, NS, SC, GB, CA, PD, and MH zoning districts, residential uses 514 and 610, providing for a repeal clause and an effective date.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to city manager, which is consider an act on a donation in the amount of $100 to the Port Aransas Fire Department in honor of Mayor Charles R. Bouillon, who died on February 9, 2022.
Mayor and council, this really didn't have to go to you, but I'd like to make this public and get it on the record that if, assuming you agree, to make that donation in recognition of the mayor there, who, as you said, died recently. That's the reason it's on the agenda.
I think it's a great idea.
I do too. I make a motion that we approve the donation of $100 to the Port Aransas Fire Department in honor of Mayor Charles R. Bouillon.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go to consider an act to approve a one-year option with Melinda Williams for professional real estate broker services through February 3rd, did I say it right? 2023.
This is, Mayor and Council, this is pretty self-explanatory, and Melinda Williams is in the audience if you have any questions. This is a renewal. We've done this before. So pretty much a housekeeping issue, but it's up to you.
I think she's done a great job for the city.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
Moving forward,
Better than the last one we had.
and the one before, and the one before, and the one before, so.
I make a motion to approve a one-year option with Melinda Williams for professional real estate broker services through February 3rd, 2023.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to consider an act on approving a First Amendment to Con Brown Harbor lease agreement with Captain Caddies and a temporary lease for a one-year period beginning March 1st, 2022 through March 1st, 2023.
Mayor and Council, you're familiar with this issue. This was discussed at the work session, or at least elements of this issue was discussed at a work session. What we're doing here is, in checking with legal, it'd be better to have an amendment to the agreement we have with Captain Caddies. And this points out that we're providing various things and allows us to move forward and get your approval to move forward with the temporary solution we have as we continue to work on a permanent solution. This is a temporary agreement with Captain Caddies and company.
Do you want to know what it is, because you weren't here for the workshop? Or you're okay with just the amendment?
No, good.
Okay. Well, then I'll make a motion that we approve a First Amendment to the Con Brown Harbor lease agreement with Captain Caddies and a temporary lease for a one-year period beginning March 1st, 2022 through March 1st, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to consider, discuss, and act on the meeting time for city council regular meetings.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this has been discussed much earlier. It's finally coming to you. And it's moving, if I can bring the agenda memo up. No, it's not coming up. Oh, there we are. It's moving the council meeting to, if you so agree, to 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. That's, I believe, the time that was discussed. So it's up to you for discussion to see if that's something of interest to you.
I think the meetings need to stay at 6 o'clock, because if we keep backing off council meetings earlier and earlier and earlier, we're going to cut out a major demographic of people, and that's going to be the Monday through Friday working class. These meetings are for the convenience of the public, not the convenience of the council, and that's how I feel about it, and I think it should stay at 6 o'clock.
Well, I think it's, the meetings that we hold are public business for the city, and the business of the city is conducted between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So I have a different opinion there. I think we could move the times up. If you have a dealing and need to be at the city council meeting for an agenda item that you're on, like going to the doctor's office, you're going to make the time to be there.
Well,
And we have the opportunity now to see it online as well.
I just feel
And
that.
all the meetings are recorded. I mean, they have the option of signing on right after the meeting and watching it.
Yeah, but you can't bounce times around, because if you have someone that's at work and there's an item that comes up that indirectly affects their life and they have to be there, they're not going to take off work and risk taking money out of their homes to come to a council meeting.
I would say maybe we go 5:30. Our 5:30 workshops work all the time.
Yeah, 5:30 works. The workshops work.
People show up for them.
Mhm.
I'm still stuck on 6, but it's whatever y'all feel.
Any input?
Do we pay, I know most of y'all are on salary, but do we pay Seth overtime to be here on these days?
Virtually, not always, but virtually, they will be salaried employees. There are times we need to bring staff members in who are not salaried, and in which case the hourly system kicks in at that point.
That would be considered time and a half, right? Because that would be.
Yes, that would be right, yeah.
Time and a half?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to leave the meetings, regular meetings, at 6 p.m.
There's not a second, the motion dies for lack of second.
Well, I make a motion to move the regular scheduled council meetings to 5:30.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna go to consider and act on amending resolution 2022-1000, ordering the election to be held, okay, that's what that is. Okay. Ordering the election to be held in the city of Aransas Pass on May 7, 2022, by changing the two 12-hour days of early voting to May 2nd and May 3rd, 2022.
At the last council meeting, council approved the election order for the election, and in that election order were the two 12-hour days. And in that order, we had the two 12-hour days as April 26th and May 2nd. I got a call from San Patricio County Elections last week asking if we would ask the council if they would consider moving those 2 days to May 2nd and May 3rd to coincide with their two 12-hour days.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
As long as we advertise it early enough, I
Yes.
think that's, yeah, great idea.
I'll make a motion amending resolution 2022-1000, ordering the election to be held in the city of Aransas Pass on May 7th, 2022, by changing the two 12-hour days of early voting to May 2nd and May 3rd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to consider and act on approving change order number 4 to the contract with J.M. Davidson for Con Brown Harbor Boca in the amount of $789,020.69.
That's a sizable
Yeah.
change order, Mayor and Council. We all
And
know
69
that.
cents takes it out.
And we have the ongoing issue of collapsing bulkheads out there. It's hasn't been addressed in decades and years, and so it's left to us to correct the problems of the past. Consequently, that's the reason they're so expensive. That's the reason the last one was expensive. This is a FEMA project, and we're working with FEMA on this on these particular change orders without final decisions having been made yet. Javier is here tonight,
Okay.
and he can go through why the price tag is what it is, but it's something that he's explained to staff, and I'm sure you would have questions also.
Let me get my rubber bands.
Good evening, first of all. Hopefully everybody's good, in a good mood.
Well, we were.
Well, it is an old bulkhead, and it was a dangerous bulkhead. It turned into a dangerous bulkhead. It started pulling out by itself without us even touching it. That's why we came into the conclusion, Gary out there, Fernando, looked at Captain Katie's. I was more worried about Captain Katie's because they were going to start working. So it is a hefty price. It is. But just to throw some numbers out there, the first time this happened was a pavilion. And linear feet, we did 130 feet of bulkhead with tiebacks and all the fixings. And the linear feet there was around $4,524. I helped you out a little bit. I brought it down to $4,500, $45.0869 a linear foot, and it's more linear foot. It's 175 now that we're gonna go, but I guarantee you that wall's gonna last another 120 years.
Have we taken
Okay,
it?
I won't say it 'cause it's gonna last you a long time. Everything's gonna be brand new, all new hardware, all new tiebacks. I did put in there for a brand new dead man. Same thing that we did on the other side of the harbor. It's a 2x3 by 175 feet long. That's going to be brand new tiebacks, not little tiebacks, 1-inch tiebacks. That's going to hold it for a good while. Other than that, like I said, it's going to be 175 feet, steel sheet piles, 23 tiebacks, all the hardware covered in PVC, grouted in the end, make sure they last a good while. And redigging all that dirt, putting all that dirt back. I even put in there, speaking to Fernando, to demo the foundation. They left the foundation there. We're going to be demoing the foundation just so we have a little bit more expertise and make sure nobody gets hurt. So slowly but surely we'll get it done. But I need your approval.
Have we taken into consideration, I'm sorry, have we taken into consideration, when the shrimp boats back up, they put a lot of pressure onto that seawall. And she's going to be, putting her tanks going into the harbor, the return tanks.
Yeah.
All of that has been taken into consideration with the engineers.
I haven't talked to Don, Doug. I have not talked to. I don't know what they're going to be trying to do to get their business going still. I don't know where they're going to be setting up. I could reach out to Dawn this week and talk to her and see what her game plan is on the setup, what she has in mind, and we could reroute everything.
Let's make sure that we do that.
If I could add to that, where they're
Okay.
going, and that is in the amendment also,
Amendment, I know that.
is the adjoining northeast portion of where they are right now.
They're going to be at the very corner.
That is right at the corner, and it'll be
Okay.
adjoining the current property they have.
Yeah, I'm talking about going forward. We're spending the money to put
Okay.
the sheet piling and
Okay.
everything in. Going forward, that our engineers know, with the shrimp boats coming in, because they do put a lot of pressure onto the seawall
Mhm.
and where her
I won't speak
tanks.
for Doug, but I'm pretty sure this will hold it up.
Okay.
It's going to be really structurally sound. We'll have more dirt back there to have everything stable back there. The only thing we ask is do not put it 14 feet behind the bulkhead. Put it away from the bulkhead, just so it could be safe. If you guys are going to rebuild something there, keep it away around 40 feet. Huh?
Like a little dock, right before they get there, they get to the dock before they get to the.
Yeah, they could do
the
that
bulkhead
too.
itself.
Put a little dock in front of it just so it
Yeah.
won't bump up against that bulkhead. That could help.
Yeah, how deep are y'all vibroing those piles right there?
if everything goes well, I'm going to be ordering 30-foot piles, so you'll have 15 to 17 feet.
Yeah, that's 'cause I was going by Jan, because you can have boats going in there and make sure
Yes.
those things are in the ground.
Yeah, and that's what we have on the concrete and the steel
Okay.
sheet piles that we put right next to her,
All right.
to refresh Willie's.
Well, we have you on camera saying they're gonna last 100
No,
years.
I'll go talk to the guy right now.
Just saying.
Any
I'm
more
just gonna
questions?
ask, do you, I know this is probably a far out, question way out there. Any, can you have any inkling to how long ago anything has been done to that? I'm just kinda
No.
wondering, so that our residents know that it hasn't been touched and
No,
I don't know how many.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. Doug would be probably the right answer for that, but
I've heard 70 to 75 years, but I have no idea if that's
Okay, because,
accurate.
to me, I don't really know about that, but I'm just thinking that something that valuable should be inspected every, 10 years or longer,
yeah, after every hurricane, after every bad weather we get out here, go inspect it. We coat it, it's coated, it's painted, it eliminates it from rusting. It has a certain lifespan on it because of the whatever choice of paint that they use. We've been using coal tar. I've been using coal tar since I started doing this, and it's held up pretty good. But if you maintain it, it might last a lot longer.
And I'm just thinking that, in some way we can put that on, that we are can we make a notation or maintenance plans that going forward that we are doing
Yes.
this? Because this is a
Yes.
very expensive item for us that we're having to pay for 70 or 75 years of neglect. And
Yeah.
that's, if we can catch it early, I think that's the best thing to do, because
Yes, we will.
that's a lot of money on that part.
Okay, yes.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Oh, I have a question, I'm sorry.
Lost your turn.
What is the status with you mobilizing or demobilizing?
So we are still there. There is, I'm trying to keep my guys busy, and we already did all the tiebacks, all the form work for the concrete that we're going to be pouring there. So standby is bringing my crane back. There's no standby, sorry. My guys are there. Got to bring a crane in. I got to start. We're going to be removing this bulkhead, so we got to remove 175 foot of it. Our crane will do that. Everything is 3 weeks out right now, 3 to 4 weeks out on materials. So once I get this approved tomorrow, I could order it and we could get started. But you're looking at around a month before we start working out there on the big items. I'm still going to be digging dirt, relieving pressure from that wall, because that wall is steadily still moving. So
I make a motion to approve change order number 4 to the contract with J.M. Davidson for the Conroe Harbor bulkhead in the amount of $789,020.69.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the monthly court report, which,
Mayor and council, I was talking with the mayor earlier, we're in agreement that every quarter we'll have a verbal report for you, and then in the interim period, they'll simply be me saying, you have a report submitted. You always get the report every month, but the verbals will come every quarter.
That's
So,
a great idea.
and that's
unless there's
beginning with
something-
this one, unless there's something.
Something
Yes.
happens or
Yes.
whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Then we're gonna go to consider an act and approving to community enrichment. We're gonna go to consider an act and approving the use of the Aransas Pass Independent School District Panther logo to be painted on the groundwater storage tank located on Avenue A at no cost to the city.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You should have received also this memo. We discussed this topic at the most recent workshop meeting, and briefly to summarize, after meeting with Councilwoman Scruggs, Councilman Knight, Superintendent Kara Cook, and hearing back from our Board of Trustees at the Aransas Pass Independent School District, they are in favor or at least supportive if you guys should so choose to use the logo, the Black Panthered logo, to be painted on the ground storage tank over on Avenue A as a show of support to our students locally. They do ask, of course, that we consider ongoing maintenance so as to uphold the good condition of that logo. When discussed in the workshop, it was requested that we change the memo verbiage to include the fact that this would not be something funded by the city or the school, that this would be completely sourced through fundraising. And the project would not begin until we had secured the funds, but having your support of this project allows us to get a realistic number and know what we're looking for. We can then go out for quotes. So I stand by for questions.
Do we have a game plan to go out for quotes?
We have a quote from the previous time this was examined. What we would do is solicit our standard 3 or so quotes from everyone, and including in those the maintenance items, coming back with the best option.
Good. Excellent.
Well, I move to approve the use of the Aransas Pass Independent School District Panther logo to be painted on the groundwater storage tank located on Avenue A at no cost to the city.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you
now
all.
go to the, again, the monthly community enrichment department report will be done next month. Development Services is considering acting awarding contract to Rain and Rent for the purchase of a well point system for an amount not to exceed $74,243.26.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is part of the ARP project that we're working on with the grant. This is a project we're doing in-house. The grant does cover 100% for this purchase, so the city would like to proceed. We went out for bids. We only received one bid. We went, checked with GrantWorks and said since we follow our policies, we could award it, and so we're bringing it to you now. This will be good for our department because now they will have a well point system they can use when they work on deeper manholes or sewer lines, water lines. We have a dewatering system now. So, any questions?
I'm trying to open it up. Where is Rain for Rent?
They're out of Corpus Christi.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Corpus Christi. Okay, great. And they have a good reputation?
Yes, we've done work with them before.
Okay. Wonderful.
We've used.
Awesome.
Well, I make a motion to award a contract to Rain for Rent for the purchase of a well point system for an amount not to exceed $74,243.26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we do the same thing with the building department report and the public works department report.
With this
Yeah.
exception of Public Works,
Okay.
Yeah,
there is a
some-
development you need to be aware of. Are we talking about the same thing, Fernando?
Well, there's a couple of things that I was asked to report on, so if I may.
Sure.
Yeah.
Want an update on the lights. The PD went out and did an inventory of lights that were out. We had 54 reported. Out of those 54, 40 had been already repaired. There's about 14 left. 7 of those, we've ordered the light fixtures. They're shipping on the 23rd of this month. There's 2 of them that are light poles that have been knocked over through accidents. One's been ordered. We haven't gotten a shipment date on it, and the other one we just found that it was damaged, so we're going to have to order that one. Fire hydrants, we did some, what did I do with my numbers? Oh, here it is. I have it here. Since we started with a new work order system that we've been using, we've been tracking our work with fire hydrants. Staff has repaired 35 different hydrants. And this is putting grease on them, bolts, caps, changing out parts on them. They replaced 16 that are completely been replaced. We currently have 27 open tickets. These are minor things, leaks here and there, but they're still in service. We do have one that is out of service right now. It's on FM 2725 by the railroad crossing. We are waiting on parts, and that's the only one right now that's out of order. But we are working with the fire department. They send us the tickets. The guys go out there. They have questions. They get with them. Once it's fixed, we upload it back to the system, and then they go and re-inspect it, and if it's a new hydrant, they tag it and check the flows on it, so.
I have a question on the, you said there was 2 that were damaged by accident?
Yes.
The poles?
Yeah.
Is there a way that accidents that the police were involved as far as tickets, or are they just randomly you found them that somebody ran
No,
into
normally
them?
when the PD reports them to us, we give them a cost for it, and then they put in their report, and then when it goes to court, that's when hopefully we get some of that money.
Have you ever maybe thought of approaching the automobile insurance?
I don't know how that would work.
I'm just a question.
Yeah. I don't know, that's something that we can do. Sandra, do you know? If we send it to their insurance?
We'd have to probably do a report to Mary and then, see how TML would want to have it. Because the street light, if that's a city asset per se, wouldn't that be insured? No, I understand that. But when we have a crash or something like that, we report that crash with our units and stuff to Mary, and then the insurance companies sort out that.
I'm just thinking something to look into if it's something that avoids, because the more accidents and things that we ding our insurance, I would assume it would go up just like it does on my personal one, right?
Yeah.
So if some way we can have a look into the one that caused the accident, the one that's at fault, see if their insurance is, we can tap them to pay for that. 'Cause just an idea.
Okay, we'll look into it.
That's a great idea.
And then 2 last things real quick that I want to highlight on. Railroad crossing over on McCampbell Ditch, the storm pipes have been taken out, and they're putting in new ones. So I saw that today, and I thought that would be good news for us to see that they're finally starting to come through and replace that. And then the one that I think is the most exciting one is we have completed our annual water loss audit. And a couple years back, we started at 43%, brought it down to 13, and then we went back up to 16. This year, we're at 7.97.
What's that?
7.97. So we're
Very
just
good,
under
good
8%.
number.
And this is 8% of water that we can't account for throughout the city. We've been working very diligently with the fire department, our guys. Every time they use a water truck, the sweeper, anything that requires water that's not metered, we have to log it. The fire department logs when they do their flushing, when they use their trucks. When they fight fires, we get estimates of what water was used, and we report all that, and that helps our numbers come down. So happy to announce that we are now under 8% on our water loss, and
That's
hopefully we
excellent.
continue to improve.
Mayor and council, the national standard is 10%.
Yes.
Wow.
And I believe this is the first time we've been below the 10%. That is no small
No, it's not.
Everybody
endeavor.
working together.
Yep.
Yeah.
very good.
Very
Communication
good.
is key in this, so.
The utility water ought to be making money then now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
So
all I
that means
got.
We're really gonna get on the phone when we see anything.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
that's
there's a
why.
drip.
Oh, and yeah, speaking of that, Highland and Commercial, I know I've gotten
Oh.
calls from 2 of y'all, and I was talking to Jason about it earlier. There is a leak there. There's a unknown water line that has never been in our maps. It runs underneath the highway. We have no way of shutting it down. It's 8.5 feet deep. So we're trying to figure out how we can approach this, trying to get a contractor that has better tools, because we don't want to tear up the highway. And we don't know if it's a dead end line or where it goes. Our water line is 3 feet above that one, and it's there. We know it's there. But this one was found 8.5 feet deep. Don't know where it goes. Don't know where it comes from. It's an old line. It's still active because it's spewing out water. It's a small leak,
But still.
and it's encased, so it's coming in from the casing. So it might be under the road where the break is at. And we're trying to figure out if we can, if it doesn't come out on the other side, if it's a dead end line, then maybe we can cap it there and abandon it underneath the road. But we need better tools than what we have to determine that. So we are working on it. It's just a slow process because nobody wants to come out and look at it. Everybody's swamped with work right now. So we are continuing to work on it, and hopefully that here pretty soon we can get an answer on it.
Good.
Anything else?
Thank you, Fernando.
Right.
you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Fernando.
Now, the monthly finance department, do you have anything, Sandra, anything special?
You need to highlight some things, yes.
Sales tax,
Yeah,
good.
Sales tax is still up.
Come
I
on.
would say, yes. That's
exciting.
something we need to highlight.
Yeah,
That's
That
exciting.
is a highlight.
Yes.
that's a highlight.
We're just gonna, I guess, we'll go over the sales tax, if you wanna go to that. To that one. Our sales tax collected year-to-date as of December 31st. For 2022, we were at 684,544. That's just the half cent that the city gets. The other, not including the other half cent, that's just the 1 penny. The other penny goes to MDD and crime control. And if you look at our numbers, for fiscal year 2018, which was right after, this would have been December of 2017, which would have been right after Harvey, we've surpassed, and we've been able to see that steady increase. You were at the right one, so there you go. Yes, that one. Yes, so we've surpassed that. Another thing I'd like to point out is the utility customers, and those do continue to grow as well. That would be the last slide, I think, sir. Yes, sir. We're at 44,560 water customers right now, as compared to 2018, we were at 3,833 water customers. So there is growth, we are continuing to grow, and our sales tax numbers are evidence of that growth. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to public safety, which is a presentation on the abatement of property at 1,000 West Myrtle.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and this should be pretty quick. I just had some before and after pictures that you can see at 1,000 Myrtle. This is the abatement that the crime board agreed to pay for $100 grand. And this is the before and after. It took, I think, right at 3 weeks to complete, a week over projection. If you want to scroll down, Gary, you can kind of see the mess on the left, the clean on the right, mess on top, clean on bottom. These are online too. Everybody can get on the agenda and pull these up. Scroll down again there. Mess on top, clean on bottom. And the last one, I believe, right there. Mess on top, clean on bottom. So how much trash did we pull out of this property over 3 weeks? I believe it was right at 342 tons of trash
Oh, my gosh.
that he had compiled. More than probably Fernando gets at the transfer station in a year.
I think it was around 20 rollbacks full.
There were a ton, yeah. I did get that number, but I didn't memorize that number. But it was quite a bit. Now, all of this trash, with the report from Dawson's KSI, has been added to the criminal complaint. As you know, there is the highest charge we can file is a felony. I think it's a state jail felony, and that is pending before the court. He has been arrested for that. Again, I do feel for the violator, because I think that he's got a severe hoarding problem. And this problem is going to continue until, if he doesn't make good on paying the city back the $100 grand, then we will begin the foreclosure after placing a lien on the property and stuff like that, and try to take it away. So, but it is done, and we are going to continue to keep a close eye on it, so that hopefully through incremental enforcement, we can prevent it from getting this big again.
I bet the neighbors are happy.
Tickled pink. In
Yeah,
fact, one of
I
them,
bet.
Mr. Dallas, was quite helpful, letting us store property on his yard in a locked fence, so that they didn't have to haul it back and forth to Gregory every day.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
That's
That's
great.
good.
Yeah,
Gosh, that was years.
there was about 4 to 6 years of buildup.
Deal.
Now we're gonna go to consider an act on approving the police chief to sign an agreement for fiber internet services from Frontier Communications for a fixed monthly price over the next 24 months, knowing the city can cancel the contract at any time.
Yeah, this should really be, instead of, I called it a post-signing approval, it should be coming and asking for your apology, or apologizing to you and asking for your blessing. We had that outage recently where a fiber line in Odom got cut. Crazy, but mostly just Aransas Pass was affected by that. I was told originally that 911 was not affected, which was semi-true, but our switchover mechanism that automatically swaps us to Portland and reroutes immediately on that down or that outage failed. We could not manually switch it. It broke at that moment. And we have 4 layers of redundancy on internet total. So we have a T1 line, a fiber line, and then we got 3 cellulars. So that's 3 layers. We got cellular, fiber, and T1. Every single one of them was piped through that fiber line that got cut in Odom. The only one that was not was the fiber line available through Frontier. And Frontier is doing a big push right now. I don't know that that's public or not, but they are going away completely from copper. They're investing a lot into fiber. The guy in Portland that I visited with told me that they're actually getting ready to sell to another company, and that company is pumping a lot into the building the fiber. They got us a fiber connection just like that immediately into the PD. I had to sign this agreement to get it going. It all will be funded through federal drug seizure funds for this backup connection. I paid the first year, and then if we want to continue next year, which will be a budgeting discussion with council come budget, then we will talk about it then. The guarantee of 24 months means that they're guaranteeing us the price rate for 24 months at a month-to-month cost. So the city can back away and walk away anytime, but we can't put to chance somebody calling or dialing 911, texting 911 and not getting through. We have to have layers of redundancy built in. It's just unfortunate that we have so many and every single one of them failed. But we've been building up for these moments, and we don't want to have another one.
Sure. Wow.
I'll make a motion to approve the police chief to sign an agreement for fiber internet services from Frontier Communications for a fixed monthly price over the next 24 months, knowing the city can cancel the contract at any time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go to consider an act on approving a resolution for the city of Aransas Pass to participate in the Texas Smart Buy membership program.
Okay, I gotta try to remember this one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is bizarre. So the police department collects blood for DNA, for alcohol specimens, stuff like that. The Texas Crime Lab will only accept one kit, and that kit is sold by DPS, I guess, or through their general stores or whatever. And I have to have y'all approve this attached resolution so that I can buy them from them. So I don't know what would happen if you guys said, I don't want to approve the resolution. I guess we would never be able to submit our blood to them again. I don't know. But anyways, if you approve that resolution, I can sign it and we can get back to purchasing these very necessary blood kits.
And these are in each cruiser?
No, we actually keep them at the department, and most of the time when we go to get blood, it's because there's a refusal, so we're having to get a search warrant, go to the judge, and then take that client to, or that individual to the hospital, provide the blood tube and the court order forcing them to draw blood.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a process, but it's just to safeguard individual rights because your blood is, it's a very
Your
protected
DNA?
thing. Yeah.
Is your DNA?
I make a motion to approve a resolution for the city of Aransas Pass to participate in the Texas Smart Buy membership program.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consider an act on the issuance of request for proposal for a fire station feasibility and faculty study.
Good evening.
Hello.
So, this is the study that we're wanting to do to find out if a station's needed. If it is needed, where would it be? And if we did build it, what would we need to be built? So this takes hiring a firm to come in and help us gather all the information together so that we can come back and present that later. It is a budget item.
The cost for the study. The cost for the study, right?
The cost for the study, that's
Right, not for the, haven't budgeted for the building.
Oh, no.
No.
I want to make sure on that.
I'll-
Just a study.
We can just forget that little bulkhead thing you guys are doing.
No, gosh.
Ay, 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 no, I don't think so.
We'll just figure out how to build a fire station there.
What about the land right across across the street from the Civic Center? Don't we own all that land?
That would
We
be a
do.
perfect place to build a new fire station.
It really would be. And I don't know if that would be what they're gonna choose as being the ideal location. It's nice, since we already own the property, not to have to buy property. That makes the overall cost a lot cheaper, but I don't know if that will.
Why do we need a study? I mean, I'm not trying to say anything
So it's kind of
bad,
like,
I'm just asking.
it's kind of
why-
like knowing, I need to buy a new car, but I don't know what kind of new car I need. And these guys are professionals that come in that say, okay, you need a station that's gonna be built like this to survive you the next 50 years. So fire stations are designed to last 50 years if you build them
So aren't there
correctly.
fire building contractors that do this for a living, that know what needs to go in there? I
They
mean,
don't do the study portion of it. The study portion is actually the important thing, because they'll just come in and say, yeah, well, yeah, you need, 3-story building and hold 15 trucks, and, because they want to make money. But if we come in and we say, this is what we're wanting built, and this is what's going to fill the needs of the city for the next 50 years, I'd rather have that information to bring back to you than just going, well, I'd really like to have a brass pole that goes all the way from the top and be able to hold 13 boats and, 5 engines, and knowing that we'll never need that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And the other thing about the feasibility study that I think is very important is, yeah, that's great that we own that land, but that may not be the best place to put a fire station
Okay.
to meet the needs of everybody in the community. We have been real lucky, this building is pretty centrally located. I would have a feeling that they would say, yeah, that would be a great place for it. Now, is that lot big enough to put a fire station on? I couldn't tell you that. That's what these people come
Well,
in and do.
compared to where you are, it is.
Yeah. Compared to where I'm at, it
It's
would be.
plenty big.
I've got to hire 2 out of the 3 guys that I needed to hire this year. The third guy, when I get him hired, is the one that I got to add on as a new position. And it's getting tight in there. It's
Yeah.
getting tight, and we're just out of storage. Just like everybody in the city's out of storage.
Oh, we know you are.
It's just our equipment's much bigger than most.
How much is the feasibility study gonna cost us?
I think we have a budget of 10.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
That's
All right.
that's very fair.
And I'd rather, it's a little insurance policy. I'd hate to buy a half-ton pickup and then find out, well, you really needed a 1-ton.
Mm-hmm.
Or I hate to buy a 1-ton and find out, well, you only needed a half-ton pickup to begin with.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll make a motion to act on the issuance of a request for proposals for a fire station feasibility and facility study.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
We're going to go to the monthly public safety report. And do you want to do the 2021 Police Department annual highlights?
So I won't, the annual highlights, I will need about an hour and a half of your time.
That it?
I know you're cool with that, Mayor, so let me get started. I'm going to read it word for word. No, I'm kidding. You have, I printed out a little thing for y'all. Y'all are special. There are some extras up here if anybody wants them. And, I had 3 people proofread before I brought it to you, and right now I had it open looking at something, and a dadgum typo just blared right out at me. And it's just a
It
misspelling.
always happens.
Yeah, I know, it's just my luck. Anyways, I wanted to change it up this year from last to make it a little more visually appealing for you and easier to decipher and understand. This will also publish online, so anybody that in the audience that wants to see the stats and everything can go online. And what Gary's scrolling through on the computer right here is what you'll have access to. On top of that, which is coming up later down here, you'll see the annual use of force audit review that we do. That report also will be published online, and of course, our racial profiling audit and annual report is already online as well. So this is just kind of our yearly wrap-ups. We put it out there, and hopefully if somebody wants to invest the time into it, we can have a dialogue at an upcoming chat with Chief, or even coffee with Chief. I'd love to have a discussion if there are any concerns or or somebody would like more elaboration, or to see even facts supporting this data, I'd be happy to pull out anything that went into the building this report. That last page you see right there that Gary's on right now was probably my biggest highlight, and that is accentuating some of the services, or really putting them out there for folks. Of course, we have the online reporting, which is taken off. Y'all blessed us a while back, letting us go forward with having that built. We helped build that product with our software developer, and it's been working. We do get online reports regularly from folks. And in fact, we had to reject one last night because it's in Rockport city limits. Well, unfortunately, you got to report to Rockport. You also have the CARE program. The CARE program is a way that we try to have critical information and reference and resources for our most vulnerable in the community. If you see the picture when you go to that link, it's my dad there. The firefighters and stuff are helping him. He got to do his acting role. He always wanted to be an actor. Well, now you're old, Dad, so you can help me illustrate the CARE program. And he did. But anyways, the program is actually a pretty good hit. We have several people that have registered. I got one individual, I don't go into details, that registered the individual themselves, you know, to give us the critical information and work with us. So it is working, and it is catching on.
Good. That's good.
If there are any questions or any elaboration, I'm always available. And I try to put myself out there, and I think I even did on the publication that's going to go out to where they can reach out to me directly. When you email me through the website, I get an immediate text message telling me that your email's waiting on me. So.
I have a question on the Spanish 911. How is that? Or what is it?
Spanish to 911. So we're having to basically. There's no good solution. I can't find a good solution. And when we're pushing out, you're referring to Code Red, the emergency
Code
alert
Red,
system.
yes,
When we're having to push information out in a critical time, we got to get it out as quickly as we can. So it can be challenging to find a Spanish speaker to come translate. And then for some of my folks that do speak Spanish, it's not easy translating verbatim English into Spanish for some of them. So I'm very limited on who we go to. So what we're doing is we're going to put shit out. In English, it will be read. In Spanish, it will be text. So you'll get a text of English, you'll get a text of Spanish that go to your text messaging and your email on top of the phone call. If you notice, when you get a phone call, you should also have a follow-up, depending on your elections, by text messaging and email. I get them all. So I don't just get the phone call, I get the text and the email that follow up that communication. So from now on, the textual communication will be in both languages. The audible is going to be in English for right now, until we can find a better solution.
I know. It's best to work on that than what we had out there.
The best solution we had was through Microsoft, and when you listened to some of it,
Oh my gosh,
you
yes.
were horrified. So, you know. Unfortunately. Google has a better solution, and there's a thing on your app, Translate, if you're an iPhone, Apple Translate. Those work awesome. They sound great. The problem is trying to export that media into a form that Code Red will accept. It will export it into like a WAV file, for example, but Code Red won't accept a WAV file. They'll only take an MP3. So we're trying to work with that developer to get them to open up the file formats that they accept. If they can change that, then we have a great solution.
Good.
So, but we haven't heard yet
Right, sure.
where the progress is on that.
Okay. Thank you for working on that.
Oh, keep it on our list. So.
Okay, now, do you have anything to say on top of what you said earlier on your monthly part?
I just wanted to bring everybody's attention that the burn ban flag is back up. We are under a burn ban in both San Patricio and Aransas County, so no burning in the counties. I imagine Nueces County will follow suit. It's usually a 90-day thing that they do. We've changed the sign outside, so just be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to bring everybody's attention is the fire and ice ball is coming up, and we appreciate any support we can get from anybody on that. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, city councilor staff announcement is the panhandling sign.
Yes, let me bring that up, Mr. Mayor and Council. This is the direction we plan to go following the work session. Put a sign out where the panhandling occurs. As you know, there is that limitation we have, a legal limitation. This is what we're going to try. And put the sign, I think there are about 3 different locations that this will be located. And that's the next step in the process. We haven't made the signs yet. I wanted to let you know first before you just saw them out there. But that's the direction we're going at this point.
What locations are you looking at? I know this one
Across
right
the
here.
street, also there at Commercial in Cleveland is another one where they panhandle. And there's another one, I'm told.
1069, right?
I'm sorry?
1069 in Wheeler,
Yeah.
Walmart area.
Yeah, Walmart.
Okay, and that would be the third. Okay.
They also, every so often are, as you exit HEB.
They're on the sidewalk there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
They use that,
Okay.
yeah.
I believe the police have
Not
been
very
there before maybe some cold weather or something like that. They were out there, and it's the group that sits across from here.
They actually got banned, I think, from HEB way back when we were there, because they.
Yeah, 'cause
got
HEB 's
into a
pretty good.
disturbance, too.
I stopped a couple of people and I said, just to let you know, those people are not homeless. They're just, they don't want to work.
Yeah.
So please don't give them money.
Yeah.
And they said, well, thank you for that. But the police were there talking to them.
Yeah. The chief reminded me, we had a meeting on this and brought this sign up. And also want to put a URL or something of that sort on there where they can go to a place where donations can be made instead of just leaving it out there as something to do in your spare time. We'll give them a list that would be located on our webpage, we anticipate also. So,
Good idea.
thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for the matter that are not scheduled in the agenda. Please limit your comment to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Evening, Mayor, Council. My name's Elise Chacon. I reside at 1200 South Houston Street. My main reason to be here tonight is to make public record and to bring my concerns to you all, for those who have not heard from me personally. As y'all should be aware, we participate in the NFIP program, which is through FEMA, which allows us to have lower rates for flood insurance. By doing so, we have to adhere to certain regulations. The city has not been doing that. I don't know when that started, that they haven't been doing it, but I know at least since March of last year. The reason I know this is because of some properties that are behind me and to the north of me. The north property touches what y'all consider the McCampbell Ditch, and it's on the south side of McCampbell Ditch. If you look at a FEMA map, they actually call that the Aransas Pass levee. We've had the property owners have come in, they've cleared the property, done all these things, which we didn't know at the time. Actually, we are in what's considered a specialized flood zone. In order to do anything on those properties, you have to have a development permit. A development permit has never been pulled. And a development permit is way different than a building permit. It means you cannot even clear your property without it. You cannot do any man-made alterations. You can't cut a tree down. You can't do anything. If you look at San Pat, that'd be the easiest, or Aransas County, they have a floodplain management application, this development permit. We should have one. I don't know why we don't. I know that in 2016, the Public Works Director, Fernando, was part of the multi-jurisdiction floodplain management plan that was with Aransas County. So I know he's completely knowledgeable of all these regulations, and he personally has been aware of the clearing of the property when it started in 2021, March of last year. Because when that was getting developed, one of our main water lines was hit. After that, in June, the north property started being cleared. We had issues then because they were bulldozing, and they started bulldozing the city's property also, the right-of-ways. Fernando came out, a police officer, the property owners, we met with them. So they're completely aware of this, and Fernando gave them permission to go ahead and clear the city's right-of-ways. Then partially the property was cleared. All this time from March and then in June, all the brush was pushed onto city right-of-ways and dumped. Was not done, nothing was done with it until January of this year. Some of y'all may have seen some complaints I've made over time because the brush was just stacked up and it was a fire hazard, because this is 2.5 acres worth of brush. In January, they came to clear again. Well, back in June, part of the problem we were having was the Houston Street drainage was being blocked and diverged. And so we reported it to the city. We reported it to Fernando. Nobody came and did anything. I invited the city manager to come out and to also see it. Never came out. So we had to get in there and clear the property, the drainage.
Your 3 minutes are up now.
All right. I will put the rest on, I guess, social media. Thank you.
I got a lot to say, so I'm going to read it, so I apologize. It's Kelly Goldoni, 2009, West Wheeler, Aransas Pass, Texas. A large number of Aransas Pass citizens feel like they have no voice and are being misled and purposely left in the dark by council. Can council collaborate on some type of educational video or instructional documents that are conveniently available to the citizens, which guide them on how to approach council with formal complaints and legitimate concerns, or how to get items added to council's agenda or executive sessions? For example, the lack of transparency and ability to be forthcoming with every one of you is appalling and shameful. Not one of you are exempt from this. Not one of you has spoken up or taken steps to inform citizens of high-dollar expenses that you're causing. A perfect example. Your city lawyer, Roxanne, admitted under oath multiple times during all 3 phases of annexation, fatal flaws were made. I have the testimony if you need to read it. Those flaws led to a lawsuit costing taxpayers an undisclosed fortune. You as council members have a duty to inform citizens of large expenditures, and expenditures which are so large they could lead to bankrupting this city. You also have a duty to spend citizens' tax dollars wisely. Why did council vote unanimously to seek loans and bonds to repay this debt? Why does the city continue to seek legal counsel from a lawyer who is engaged in acts that may constitute malpractice? Why hasn't council sought compensation from the attorney's assurance instead of making citizens responsible? These are just a few concerns that residents have and feel council is avoiding or being misleading about. I urge council to find feasible solutions to becoming more transparent and forthcoming with citizens. Please include this on an upcoming agenda. I urge council to create solutions for better communication with its citizens and to provide them accessible instructions on how to problem solve within the community with evidence-driven results. Please include this on an upcoming agenda. And finally, I urge council to not only consider the employment status of your city attorney, but to also consider all other options to repay the lawsuit debt its citizens did not create, to include pursuing reimbursement from your city attorney instead of the citizens. I'm also asking for this to be included on an upcoming city agenda or an executive session. Thank you for your time.
Any other comments? Mary? Any?
There's no comments online.
Okay, now we're gonna go into executive session. Section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to seek to the city council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to municipal lien 1027 South Lamont, lots 4 and 5 in block 373. the State of Texas EXREL Association Against Annexation Abuse versus City of Aransas Pass, Texas, cause number 8-19-0368-CV-C in the 343rd Judicial District Court of Aransas County, Texas. And then it's a section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act to meet with the attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act and section 551.072 deliberations regarding the real estate property as it relates to a commercial contract with 630 Ransom Island Partners LLC, formerly known as Blue Water Partners LLC, for unimproved property with an addendum of special provisions for Nueces CAD number 380310, 28.61 acres of land on Ransom Island, Track 7, commonly known as 630 East Ransom Road, Aransas Pass, Texas 78336, and it is 7:10. We're gonna reconvene in open session to consider and take action, if any, on any item discussed in executive session.
We make a motion that we release all municipal liens on the 1027 South Lamont, lots 4 and 5, block 373.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.